They find interesting videos about ethics. They find interesting books. They find interesting articles. Interesting something. Bring it in. Sharing is caring. Right? So, bring it to me, send it to me, and I will share it with everybody. Okay? So make your contribution. Okay. The reason for all this is the built-in conflict of interest in the compensation incentives leads to implicit bias. The fact that the barber will benefit if you have your care, cut your hair, he's going to recommend you to have haircut. There's a conflict of interest. It cannot be an objective advisor and the provision of the service. Understand? You have to separate it. You don't come to me and ask me to tell you which business school you should go to. Right? You have to say him, right? Okay? Correct. Because I am not unbiased. Even if I try. I want to believe that I'm unbiased. Okay?
Subconscious.
Yeah, subconscious. The consequence of conflict of interest is some bad recommendations and decisions. Now, strategies. How to very quickly, you have a break after, how can managers deal with subconscious biases? First of all, mindfulness and vigilance. Mindful and vigilance. Never ever forget that you are biased subconsciously. That there is someone in the back of your head that guides your hands and your decisions, and therefore try to. It's the same thing if I know that the exam is written by George, right? Because he's a relative, I would, even believing that I'm objective, still I might say, without me realizing it, judge him more leniently or favorably than the rest. Right? I have to be constantly mindful that I cannot possibly be totally objective, therefore I have to take strategies or measures to, for example, I would say, all you cover the names of your exams or your assignments or something, so I do not know whose exam is what. Okay? So, first of all, mindful and vigilance, which means continued awareness of the forces that shape our decision making, counteracting action, continual adjustments to offset the unconscious bias, just like the driver or misaligned car. If you drive in a car which is not aligned, or a bicycle which keeps going to the left, you are going to go into a ditch. So what do? Right? Countervailing, counteracting action to make sure you go straight. All of us, we are like a crooked car or a crooked bicycle who goes one way, right? For example, if I grew up in a sexist society, many things that I do might be biased in favor of men and against women for positions of power or whatever. Therefore, I have to be aware of that, and constantly I should make counteracting actions. Once I make evaluation, they say, could it be that I have somewhere undervalue one person versus the other, and so on. Okay? So, the strategies. You collect more information. You shape your environment. We'll see all. And you broaden your decision making. So collect more data. For example, examine your decisions in a systematic way. How? Unpack the contributions of others before determining your own. When I ask this team to each of them to tell me or send me an email how much they contributed to the project, how would Angelos decide his contribution? He would say, let me see. How much Marina contributes to this project? Marina worked really hard. Actually, she did a quarter of the project, so 25% is for Marina. And Elena, she contributed around a fifth of the project. So 25 and 20 is 45. What about Henry? Henry also worked hard for the quarter of the project, so another 25. So here we have 45, two of them, and 25, how much is it? 70. Now, Ali, he was absent for some part of the time. His contribution was only 10%, so 70 and 10, 80. So how much is Angelos? 20%. The balance. You see that? Rather than put your own first and then the hell with the rest. Okay? Unpack the contributions of others before claiming your own share.
Can I ask something?
Yes.
What if the remaining percentage doesn't satisfy you? What do you do?
Well, then consider maybe you gave Marina too much, or you gave Elena too little, or whatever. You just, it doesn't satisfy you. Is it fair? Are the percentages of the others fair? You determine. You are left with the balance. You have to make sure that it's fair for all the rest first, and then the balance is yours. I tell you something, because all of you, a few things I tell you in this course that are truths that if you apply them, you have a great success. The one truth I'll tell you now is this. I'll tell you the other one before. Remember the one I told you about? That how you judge character of people? Now, how you judge whether someone is a good leader. How you judge whether someone is a good leader or a great leader. And great leader is, and a great manager too, is one who gives to others more than their share of credit and takes for himself less than his share of credit. And when things don't go well, a great leader is one who takes on himself more than his share of blame and gives to others, to his team, to his people, less than their share of blame. Exactly like our politicians do. Right? This is a good leader. Look at when something goes well, look at this leader, what he says. If he gives credit to his people, to his team, and he takes credit for himself or nothing, say, great, this is a great leader. See, when things go wrong, if she says, doesn't look for the low officer and say, it's their fault, it's the firemen, it's the soldiers, it's the official of the ministry. He says, no, it's my fault. I take responsibility. I was in charge. Right? I made a mistake. I am big enough, strong enough to accept the blame. And you say, I'm sorry. When the Marie happened, because the president is a personal friend of mine since high school, I made Herculean efforts to convince his men to advise him immediately, the same day, to accept responsibility and say, I'm sorry. It's not part of our culture. It's not the person. Whoever was in that position probably would not accept it. We saw it. We saw it in the investigative committee for the economy. Regardless of party, no one stood there. And I say today also in the leader. So none of them, regardless of party, had the moral stature, had the power and the braveness to come and say, I made a mistake. I accept responsibility. I'm a man. Okay, mea culpa, sorry. I'm willing to suffer the consequences. Because nobody accepts responsibility until they are arrested for something, and then immediately they have a heart problem. They get sick. Oh, it is behind this whoever. This is a culture. Huh? Xenophobia. We should get out of that. It's a shame. People are asking me. Today, Elida says to me, well, aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid with the things you are saying? Because I talk about the Tony John, you are the devil. Aren't you afraid? I'm afraid that some people would not like it. What you say? What do I say? Όσους αρέσουν. Τους άλλους δεν θα μπορέσουν. That's it. Then someone came out and said, well, he says, Mr. Panayotou comes and says all these things and so on, but you should know that the economists are as much to blame as everybody else for the how we answer. I said, he's absolutely right. And first and foremost, for myself, I accept responsibility. I say, look at television. Something you can see it on your computer, you go to the leadership. And I said, accept responsibility. And the leader says, how can you say that? You all have been saying this for years. I have been saying these things I say now, I have been saying them 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 3 years ago. He says, how can you be responsible? You have been writing about it, you have been saying. I said, Elida, the fact that I have been getting on the TV and saying these things or writing them, doesn't mean I have done anything. He says, what else you could have done? I said, I should not have accepted it. I should be in Eleftheria Square, right? Demonstrating, I don't know, whatever. I didn't say naked on TV. But I should have done that. And what she responds to me, she says, yeah, but you have been 2 or 3. I said, 2 ή 3. What I respond? Είμαστε 2, είμαστε 3, είμαστε 1013. We are 2, we are 3, we are 1003. Okay, don't give up. So they'll tell me you're going to jail sometime. I said, if they make this honor to me, go to jail, I will tell them.
I will wait in the queue.
I have those thousands of books I haven't read yet. I bought them in a home, so I have a chance to read them. Why was I so afraid? Why? Really? Are you afraid of jail? I'm not afraid. Huh?
Well,
To be freed?
that's been selfish for the other people around you.
Your family.
Going to jail. Your son, your daughter.
No, they need to grow this. No, I'm not maybe.
And everything.
I'll tell you an example.
One the company of DTs or some other people also in jail.
So last week, a week ago, 10 days ago, my mother, 92-year-old mother, told me, you should not be afraid of death. Here is a book to read. She gave me a book.
Your mother.
Yeah, my mother. Read it, and you see there is nothing to be afraid of death. I am ready, he said. God can come anytime and take me. I don't worry about anything. The only thing I worry, I have this book still, I haven't read yet. But perhaps you can put them in my coffin when I die. He was a joke. Next day, she had a stroke, and she died. She was buried on Friday, last Friday. That's you know where blood. Now we put the books that she said we had. But the point is, she was a brave woman. And in fact, she told me also that day, and that's why tonight on TV, you heard that?
The heritage of your mother.
Yes, what did I say? She said that, because, no, it's relevant because there are, she said, and you know, I know I will go soon, but she was very strong, she wasn't weak. I mean, she was working in the garden, she was, his grandson, so he knows of that. And he said that, and I know what should be the problem of Cyprus, how you solve the problems in Cyprus, right? Because she watched all the programs, she knew everything was going on. And she says, the way to solve the problems in Cyprus, you need to establish two schools. One for parents to learn how to raise their kids with values, and one for politicians to learn how to govern with values, based on values. And creating value for people rather than just creating value for themselves. So that was her prescription. Probably she was right. So you have to have views about things. It doesn't matter she was 92 years old. And she was an orphan, she didn't go to school and all these other things. You have to have a spirit and believe in what you do and not be afraid of things. Our politicians, yes, when I saw two leaders of the army, generals, Salikidis and Bilbikas, when the marriage happens, instead of accepting responsibility and say, we made a mistake, I accept responsibility, they stand there, they pee their pants. They start a little 3-year-old girls like this. This were the people who are going to defend us if there was a war. We depend on this kind of people. Generals. And they're all decorated with all those. Tell me, where are they? When they come here to face justice? They are afraid because they will be go to jail for a year or two. Why not? You made a mistake, you pay for it. What kind of a life you have hiding? There's another one. The head of the central bank, of Fanidis. He disappeared in America. Why don't you come here and say, yes, I accept responsibility, I explain what I did, when I made a mistake, I will accept it? Isn't it? Shouldn't be that way? Tell me. Is life worth it if you are not like that? Someone said an unexamined life is not worth living. A life that you don't examine what you do and why you do it is not worth living. Right? Think about it. What's the difference between ourselves